Andrew Green, WSJM News.
Margaret Van Buren has secured a $50,000 grant from the state to conduct a housing study in Van Buren County. Group Director Zach Morris tells us he's heard from business owners across the county that the shortage of housing is affecting their ability to hire.
Business leaders have stated that the biggest challenge they have with attracting workers to some of our rural communities is that when they are driving up to 30 minutes away, first time they get a comparable job offer back closer to where they live, they're accepting it because then they don't have to drive 30 minutes.
Morris said housing of all kinds is needed, whether it's affordable apartments or houses for families. He's spoken with developers to ask that they construct housing in the county, and they want empirical data to show that there's a demand. That's why the study is being done. Margaret Van Buren is teaming up with Van Buren County for it.
What we do is about a $100,000 expense to get the study done. So we went to the county, and Van Buren County helped us with the other $50,000.
Morris says the housing shortage is partly the result of baby boomers living longer than previous generations. While that's not a bad thing, it does mean housing for younger generations is scarce. This is the first such study done in the county, and it should be finished by the end of summer. The city of Bridgman is receiving a $150,000 state grant to renovate the restrooms at the Waco Beach campground. Governor Whitmer this week announced $1.9 million in recreation passport grants for projects throughout the state. Bridgman Recreation Director Sarah Ball tells us the current restroom building at the East Campground is in need of an update.
From my records, it was built back in the 60s, and it had a few remodels throughout the years, such as like tile in the showers and ongoing maintenance, plumbing, and things like that. But it's just long overdue for like a facelift. It's pretty outdated, and we're trying to steer towards being more ADA compliant.
With state approval for the grant, we asked what happens next.
Typically, from my experience working with the state and how grants operate, it can be anywhere from a 1 to 2 year project.
Ball says the grant is a match, so the city will have to contribute another $150,000 to the project. Recreation passport grants are funded from 10% of state recreation passport revenues, with the remaining funds supporting operations, infrastructure, and cultural assets in the state parks and recreation system. Also receiving a recreation passport grant is Watson Township in Allegan County. It's getting $150,000 for development at Seven Generations Park. The Benton Harbor Planning Commission has granted its approval to Project T, a commercial and residential development planned at the site of the former Mercy Hospital. At a meeting last month, planners gave conditional approval to the site plan. At a meeting this week, they heard from consultant Paul Lippens the conditions have been met.
We're comfortable releasing those conditions from the site plan approval process and having them part of the engineering review of the construction documents.
Among other things, the Planning Commission wanted the plans for Project T to account for easements, paving materials used on streets, and fencing. Project T is a $33 million development planned by Harbor Habitat and Detroit-based Renovair. It's expected to include more than 70 units, some of which will be apartments in a 4-story building, and others will be houses. Ground could be broken in 2024. And a new fundraising effort has been launched by United Through Motherhood, the group that donates diapers to organizations in need throughout the Southwest Michigan. President Ruth Kramer tells us they have secured a challenge grant from the Frederick S. Upton Foundation.
I now know that it takes about $30,000 a year to keep my community partners supplied. And so I asked for a $30,000 grant, and they said, we'll give you 10, and if you raise 10, we'll give you another 10. I said, done. This is what I'm trying to do now.
United Through Motherhood gives diapers by the thousands to 10 community service groups throughout Berrien and Van Buren counties. One of them is Neighbor by Neighbor in Union Pier. Director Carrie Haskins tells us they've had plenty of families in need.
We had some parents that were kind of just going without or doing their best to stretch diapers. And we know that really is not good for the babies, in terms of diaper rash and other things that could develop. So now they have a free resource to be able to get these.
As part of the new $10,000 fundraiser, United Through Motherhood has announced cats and dogs for diapers. You can enter your pet into the contest, and then friends and families can make donations on the pet's behalf. Doing so also enters the pet to win gift cards from local businesses. We've linked to enter at our website. In the WSJM Newsroom, I'm Dave Wolf.
ABC News. I'm Derek Dennis. New details in the deadly campus shooting at UNLV. The shooter, a professor identified as 67-year-old Anthony Polito, who sources say failed to get a job at the school, instead opening fire Wednesday and killing 3 faculty members before being killed himself by responding officers. Investigators searching his home and belongings today. Fireworks at last night's GOP debate, with frontrunner former President Trump skipping the stage, but attacked anyway for saying on Fox News this week he would be a dictator if reelected on his first day.
The fact of the matter is, he is unfit to be president, and there is no bigger issue in this race, Megyn, than Donald Trump, and those numbers prove it.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie there, who got into a heated back and forth with businessman Vivek Ramaswamy for attacking former U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis routing out the 4 GOP hopefuls on stage. And new Israeli attacks in southern Gaza in the Israel-Hamas war, with United Nations saying nowhere in the territory is safe. This is ABC News.
Your sports update on the morning show is brought to you by True Blue Financial. Independent, uncomplicated, dedicated.
The 2023-24 NBA season started for the Detroit Pistons on October 25th. Since then, they have won 2 games. 2. To put it in perspective, the 2023-24 high school basketball regular season started last week, and after last night, the Benton Harbor Tigers have more wins than the Pistons in only a fraction of the time. The Pistons were at home last night trying to put an end to their franchise record 17-game losing streak as they faced Memphis. But the Grizzlies got a career-high 49 points from Desmond Bane, 32 of them in the second half, as the Grizzlies beat the Pistons 116-102. The Pistons have now lost 18 straight. The Bulls got 29 points from DeMar DeRozan, while Zach LaVine will be out for another month as Chicago beat the Charlotte Hornets 111-100. The Bulls have now won 3 straight after a 5-game skid. Nikola Vucevic had 20 points and 11 boards. Tonight, the Pacers face Milwaukee in the semifinals of the NBA's in-season tournament at Las Vegas. That game's at 5 o'clock. That game will be followed by New Orleans and the Lakers at 9. And tonight is showtime in Detroit. The Red Wings announced that Patrick Kane will make his debut in a Red Wings sweater at Little Caesars Arena tonight at 7 o'clock when the Red Wings host the San Jose Sharks. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks, who have slipped behind San Jose for last place in the NHL, host the Anaheim Ducks at 8:30 at the United Center. College basketball last night, Central Michigan over Valparaiso was 71-67 up in Mount Pleasant. Women's college hoops, Toledo over Michigan 69-46. Detroit Mercy over Western Michigan 62-59. And number 14 Notre Dame over Lafayette 96-42. Week 14 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with Thursday night football. And if you like offense, this game is probably not for you. New England is at Pittsburgh at 8:15. Baseball news, former Detroit Tigers pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez signs a 4-year, $80 million deal with Arizona. The New York Yankees have acquired outfielder Juan Soto. A total of 7 players move between San Diego and New York. Junior college men's basketball from Wednesday, Lake Michigan College falls on the road 91-86 at Kuiper College up in Grand Rapids. High school basketball last night. On the boys' side, Our Lady of the Lake got 30 points from Owen McLaughlin in a 51-48 win over Hartford. Benton Harbor improved to 3-0 after an 86-40 win over Andrews Academy. Matawan beat Pawpaw 58-38. And Climax Scott.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good start to the day. I am still at the house. Ken is out this morning. He hopefully feeling a little bit better and should be back. I'm not sure, possibly tomorrow, possibly Monday. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm here for now and feeling a lot better. Interesting thing happened yesterday. Lost my sense of smell and taste, which I thought was interesting. I know that's one of the symptoms of things that people deal with when they have COVID-19. But yeah, was eating lunch yesterday. Couldn't really taste it. It's kind of weird because there was a lot of great flavor in what we were eating. Just couldn't taste it though. So yeah, hopefully I can taste my coffee this morning. I'm really crossing my fingers that I can do that. I'm going to be making the coffee here in just a moment. You want to watch some basketball tonight? Bangor Lady Vikings basketball at Cassopolis. That's happening. Nice. Yeah, good luck to the girls team. How is the Bangor Lady Vikings basketball team doing this season? Love to know. By the way, you can check out the high school basketball game of the week tomorrow night right here on 94.9 WSJM. If you want to listen to that on the WSJM app and at WSJM.com, and of course on your radio. All right. Going to get back to the show here in just a moment. We'll have Always Learning with our friends from Barry and Risa. One of my favorite segments of the week. I always love chatting with those folks and hearing more about the cool things they have going on and the different programs and different aspects of Barry and Risa. So we'll do that. Also, lots of other news to catch you up on as well. Including something that happened at a Kilwins in Little Rock, Arkansas, that I'm really hoping happens at the Kilwins here in Southwest Michigan, because, well, I would certainly participate and be a part of that if they need help. So I'll tell you about that a little bit later on this morning. Also, something happening in the state of Michigan that we know was something that was pretty popular here in Southwest Michigan with Cornerstone Alliance, their Move to Michigan fund. Now they're looking at ways of boosting the population here in Michigan by enticing people to come here, maybe even giving them some money. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. All right. I'm going to run and grab, get the coffee made, but then you guys can listen to the segment with Barry and Risa here in just a moment. All right. Get that all situated for you.
Geez, in 5 to 6 years, we'll even know who they are. 1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
We start out with a few clouds this morning, then become mostly sunny today. And afternoon temperatures getting up around 50 degrees. With the wind out of the southwest, we will see some big waves along the lake shore. Tonight, partly cloudy. We drop down to 40. And then for tomorrow, a little bit warmer, a mix of the sun and clouds, high temperatures at 55. Rain showers return for Saturday. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's time for Always Learning with our friends from Barry and Risa. We have Superintendent Eric Hopstock. Eric, how are you?
Good, Jonny. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Always good to talk to you and learn about so many great things that you guys have going on at Barry and Risa. We've really, I think, covered, I would say probably just the tip of the iceberg with the things that you guys do, because there's so many great programs and great things. And we're going to highlight another great thing at Barry and Risa, right?
Yeah, in some past time we've spent together, we talked about some of the services that an ISD, or in our case, Regional Education Service Agency, provides. And one of those is direct services to some special education students. And one of those programs is the Blossomland Learning Center for individuals with cognitive impairments. So today we have with us Greg Kuhn, the principal, and Aaron Rubeli, the assistant principal of that program, to just share, what happens at a program like Blossomland Learning Center. So we have our principal and assistant principal with us today.
Fantastic. Good to talk with you guys. Let's talk a little bit more about Blossomland. Is Blossomland Learning Center a school?
Yes, Blossomland is part of the public school system. So when you think of a traditional school setting, while we do some things unique for our students, it is part of the public schools.
How long can a student attend Blossomland?
We provide services for students ages 3 to 26. As they turn 26, those services that they're eligible for are finished and they transition to the community.
Okay. Yeah. And as you talked about it, it's like a school, but then you have some other learning opportunities as well. What do students learn while they're there?
So we because we're a school, we focus on some traditional academics, and most of our students participate in a curriculum that aligns with Michigan's alternative standards. So if you look at Michigan General Education Public School Standards, our students have alternative standards that align to those. And then students also learn daily living skills, functional life skills, employment skills, social skills. We kind of wrap up all our skill basket all in one and provide the best service that we can from there.
Wow, that's awesome. Do they have regular classes and homework and stuff like that too?
Yep. Some of our classrooms have their students work on their academics. They have homework set aside that goes home daily. Many times our students have a availability to work on those homework assignments right in the classroom with their classroom staff.
That's really cool. Do they receive some therapies while they're there?
Yeah, so really everything that's worked on for the students is all individualized. So it really depends on the student's needs. But we have everything from physical therapy to occupational therapy, speech and language therapy. We have music therapy. And then there's some other students that have additional, so vision, mobility, really whatever the student's needs are, if it's identified through that IEP process we have for all of our students. That really lays out the plan and the services that are provided.
Now, like you said, as a school, so you have do you have a pool and a gym and things like that?
Yes, we're fortunate. We not only have the gymnasium for our physical education, and a lot of it's adaptive physical education, so our students can be successful. We also have a pool. It's kind of unique in that it's we keep it warm enough, so it's considered a therapeutic pool. So our students that need to really get in there and aren't necessarily utilizing it for swimming instruction, but more of like a therapy, need to stretch out and relax their body. It's warm enough that they can get it. Almost feels like a hot tub at times, a cool hot tub.
Cool.
But they're in there and they also learn how to swim. It's pretty neat. As you see students progress year by year, that they go from a lot of times being afraid of the water to can't hardly wait to get into the water, want to get in a daily, and then they're swimming different, kind of swimming strokes throughout their time here at Blossom Land.
Yeah, water safety is really important when you live in Michigan. Wherever you go, you're not very far from a body of water. So that's one of our skill sets that we have students learn is just water safety in general.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned adaptive equipment. Do you also have that outside with the playgrounds?
Yeah, we do. And we actually just updated some of our playground equipment. But almost all of it is accessible for all of our students. So we have, you think like a traditional, like a merry-go-round. We have a really neat one that has like a zero threshold that wheelchairs can go right into it and spin around. That's a new one that we have, which it's interesting because we found out some students have motion sickness as they're spinning around in the merry-go-round. Swings, adaptive playset. We also have an area that has some music sensory, so they can be outside, and they have some drums, some wind chimes. And it's fun because the students and staff both love to get together and really play on some of that equipment together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, even our elevated play structure has a ramp, so all students can access the top and engage with their peers up top and play.
That's really cool. How does somebody enroll students to attend Blossom Land Learning Center?
So when it's all through the local school district and through that IEP process, the individual education program for the students. That local school district in Berrien County, whatever that school district is, realizes that the student needs additional supports, services that might not be able to truly be accessed at their local district. So then they would reach out to us. There's a paperwork, a process that we go through to make sure that they're the best fit to be here. We always say that the worst part about our program is we are a center-based program. We're completely isolated from the gen ed setting. And once we acknowledge that, that's the one drawback, we don't have some of that gen ed interaction. The things that we're able to do for students is amazing, but you can't just come in, and we're like a school of choice. You can't come and say, hey, I want to come to Blossom Land. I'll also go through that local district that recommends that intense program and services.
Now, you have students coming from all over Berrien County, right? And how are they getting there? Do they ride a school bus to get to school? How do they get to Blossom Land?
Exactly, Johnny. We do. We serve all of Berrien County from Waterville, Coloma, all the way down to Niles, New Buffalo. Our students are at Blossom Land, utilize First Student. We have a contract. We have a great relationship with them. They utilize school vans. So you'll see a Berrien Risa vans out and about in your communities, as well as our school buses that say First Student. So, and those buses all have wheelchair and lift stations. So we can get students from wherever they are in the county to school.
That's awesome. We're always learning with our friends from Berrien Risa, and we're learning more about Blossom Land Learning Center. What about field trips? Do you guys go on those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of have two schools of thought. We have field trips that we really plan for our younger students that usually ends up being one of those culminating educational activities. For example, the zoo is a field trip that our school goes to. Usually the students have been learning about, the life cycle and animals and species. And then as one of the culminating activities towards the spring, when the weather's nicer, they get to go out to the zoo. That's just one example. And then we also have community-based instruction where the students go out into our community in Berrien County at local businesses and other places and learn in that environment, in that community setting, those skills that they'll need.
That's really awesome. And as you mentioned, you're learning those job skills and things like that. Students, do they work in the community at various places?
Yeah, so we have, with part of our program, as the students get older and increase their skill sets, we have two programs, two classrooms, one in Niles, one in St. Joe. And the focus there is that's kind of the end result for a lot of our students is really job skills. That's our ultimate goal, having them working or volunteering in the community. Before that, though, as they're progressing here, we're doing a lot of foundation skills, the traditional academics, but some of those functional skills, learning how to stay on task, building up work stamina. Classrooms here then start to go out to the community, do little volunteer components to show and demonstrate that they have the skills. And then when they're at the offsite programs, they're at places like Meijer, Walmart, Martin's, Walgreens. They've been at local hardware stores, fast food restaurants, some of the hotels, working on lots of different job skills that they can hopefully then take out as they transition out of Blossomland into meaningful employment.
Now, what happens after the student completes their program? Do they graduate?
So all of our students work on a certificate of completion.
Okay.
As Aaron mentioned, none of our students are on the Michigan Merit Curriculum working towards those standards. Ours are the alternate standards that give them a certificate of completion. And again, that IEP as they get older has a transition component to it, transitioning to life after school, where we're focusing on what does adult living look like, what does continuing education or learning needs going to look like, and then what does employment look like, with the hope that when they leave us that they have some valuable job skills as they transition to life after school.
That's really cool. Now, I got to ask you a couple more things. What are foster grandparents?
Foster grandparents are one of our most valuable assets next to our staff. They are another familiar adult to students at our school. We've been blessed to be able to partner with them. Familiar adults for kids are amazing. They can help students build resiliency. They have relationships with our students, so that bonding that, they get a welcoming face every day. So we work with the foster grandparents, and I'm trying to think how many we have currently, 6 or 7 that we're able to work with currently.
What about substitutes? Do you need those?
Yes. Yes. We're, especially as we get into the colder seasons and, sickness and, all of that stuff. And we have an amazing staff that has younger kids too. So not just sicknesses, but kids that are sick and, staying home. So we're always looking for subs. Our morning usually starts off looking, at our absence student list, but also our staff list, and then trying to scramble the last, really since COVID, finding sub coverage has been pretty difficult. So we're always looking for subs.
That's awesome. Yeah. Definitely a need for that. Eric, anything else you'd like to add?
If anyone would like to volunteer some time at Blossomland Learning Center, it is a great idea. People always say, I don't know how you guys do working with students with disabilities. And I said, you know what? If you live long enough, you'll inherit a disability, whether that's hearing or vision or some mobility. And learning to work with these students is a great, people are shocked that, hey, I really enjoyed myself. And some of the teachers that we have started as students in high school that did some co-op experiences in our program. So this is one of those programs. Don't be afraid of it. We like foster grandparents. They are great programs to work with students. You'll get more from it than you give.
Absolutely.
So just an opportunity to, if you're thinking I would like to volunteer some time, Blossomland's a good place to do it.
Such a great idea. And where's a place if we want to learn more about either Blossomland Learning Center or anything that you guys have going on at Berrien RESA?
BarryandReesa.org. Find it fast. Type in Blossomland Learning Center, and it'll take you right there to learn more.
So, well, we're always learning with our friends from Barry and Reesa, but thank you guys so much for talking to us this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At Sturgis Bank, it's our people.
Always love talking to those people from Barry and Reesa and Superintendent Eric Hopstock. Been talking about a lot of really cool stuff lately, so pretty neat. So if you want to check out that and Blossomland Learning Center, and we were talking about it just the other day about their bazaar and some other great events that they have going on. So just some really cool stuff going on. What's going on with you? Hopefully you're having a great start to your morning. Yeah, I'm here by myself at my house, still a little bit under the weather, still staying home. Ken is, I think, starting to feel better. Last I checked with him, his, what was his words? He said, it's hitting him pretty hard. Feels like a porcupine has taken up residence in his throat. So that doesn't sound fun. I did not have that, but I did get a lot of chills, body aches, just all in all, felt like crap for like most of the weekend. And then I think today's about the first day that I'm really starting to feel a little more like myself. I'd say in the 85 to 90% range, somewhere around there is where I'm feeling. So that's good, especially during the wintertime where everybody's dealing with all kinds of sicknesses, from the flu to the cold to you name it, with COVID still going around with a lot of people. It's one of those, not only good idea to keep yourself not only to keep yourself safe, use the hand sanitizer, wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home. All of the stuff that you're always told, and we were told even more during the pandemic. But yeah, I was talking about this earlier. I don't know if I told you guys, but we lost, both Jocelyn and I both have it, and we lost our sense of smell and taste yesterday. And Jocelyn really likes the spicy stuff. And one of those things is sriracha. She really likes sriracha, and she was eating a sandwich or a tuna melt yesterday. And she said that she didn't really taste it. And I don't like spicy, but I decided, all right, I'm not tasting anything right now. Just lay it on me. And she just squirted some of that in my mouth. Didn't even taste it. I felt the burn from the sriracha, but I didn't taste anything in it. Same thing with the tuna melt. Didn't taste anything. So yeah, it's been a little weird past few days, but been interesting and eye-opening for sure. We still got a lot to get to here on the show. Going to plan our weekend with St. Joe today a little after 8 o'clock. Going to talk about what's been going on lately with Governor Gretchen Whitmer's population panel that she put together a while back to help grow Michigan's population. See what the latest ideas are, what the latest plans are for that. I was reading a story from Bridge, Michigan just a little while ago. So we'll share some of that information and some thoughts. Love to know your thoughts on things. See anything in the news that's going on that we should be talking about, feel free to reach out. You can email letstalk@wsjm.com and the WSJM app. Have you got your tickets yet for the WSJM Holiday Breakfast Blend event that's happening 1 week from today? Get your tickets, get all the info, WSJM.com and the WSJM app. All right, let's get back to the show here.
Wall
Street expected since expenses were lower. Stocks moved lower yesterday with declines ranging from 0.2% for the Dow to 0.6% for the Nasdaq. Stock futures are mixed this morning as investors await a couple of readings from the labor market ahead of the November jobs report tomorrow. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Just a few past 7:30. It's Thursday, December 7th. Ken's still out sick this morning. Mostly sunny, high 50 today. Then later tonight, it's going to be cloudy and a low down to 40. Friday's looking good. Sunny and breezy with a high of 55. We got a lot to get to here this morning. Catch you up on all the news and happenings from ABC as well as the Michigan News Network. Dave Wolf pulling double duty this morning, covering sports and news. Let's find out what's happening this morning.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
In the WSJM Newsroom, I'm Dave Wolf. A former nurse from South Haven who was convicted of second.
All right, have a good day, Bill. All right.
The Office of Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel says 43-year-old Judith Sobel was on meth when a 3-year-old Coloma Township girl in her care died. The girl needed a ventilator, and the child's parents discovered Sobel incoherent and the child unresponsive with her trachea tube disconnected on June 20th of last year. Sobel was convicted by a Berrien County jury of second-degree murder and in May of this year was sentenced to 30 to 75 years in prison. On behalf of the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, the Attorney General issued an administrative complaint against Sobel to permanently revoke her nursing license. The Board of Nursing Disciplinary Subcommittee issued an order doing so in November. Nessel says the move helps to protect the integrity of the nursing profession in Michigan. Andrew Green, WSJM News.
Margaret Van Buren has secured a $50,000 grant from the state to conduct a housing study in Van Buren County. Group Director Zach Morris tells us he's heard from business owners across the county that the shortage of housing is affecting their ability to hire.
Business leaders have stated that the biggest challenge they have with attracting workers to some of our rural communities is that when they are driving up to 30 minutes away, first time they get a comparable job offer back closer to where they live, they're accepting it because then they don't have to drive 30 minutes.
Morris said housing of all kinds is needed, whether it's affordable apartments or houses for families. He's spoken with developers to ask that they construct housing in the county, and they want empirical data to show that there's a demand. That's why the study is being done. Margaret Van Buren is teaming up with Van Buren County for it.
What we do is about $100,000 expense to get the study done. So we went to the county, and Van Buren County helped us with the other $50,000.
Morris says the housing shortage is partly the result of baby boomers living longer than previous generations. While that's not a bad thing, it does mean housing for younger generations is scarce. This is the first such study done in the county, and it should be finished by the end of summer. The city of Bridgman is receiving a $150,000 state grant to renovate the restrooms at the Waco Beach campground. Governor Whitmer this week announced $1.9 million in recreation passport grants for projects throughout the state. Bridgman Recreation Director Sarah Ball tells us the current restroom building at the East Campground is in need of an update.
From my records, it was built back in the 60s, and it had a few remodels throughout the year, such as like tile in the showers and ongoing maintenance, plumbing, and things like that. But it's just long overdue for like a facelift. It's pretty outdated, and we're trying to steer towards being more ADA compliant.
With state approval for the grant, we ask what happens next.
Typically, from my experience working with the state and how grants operate, it can be anywhere from a 1 to 2 year project.
Ball says the grant is a match, so the city will have to contribute another $150,000 to the project. Recreation passport grants are funded from 10% of state recreation passport revenues, with the remaining funds supporting operations, infrastructure, and cultural assets in the state parks and recreation system. Also receiving a recreation passport grant is Watson Township in Allegan County. It's getting $150,000 for development at 7 Generations Park. The Benton Harbor Planning Commission has granted its approval to Project T, a commercial and residential development planned at the site of the former Mercy Hospital. At a meeting last month, planners gave conditional approval to the site plan. At a meeting this week, they heard from consultant Paul Lippens the conditions have been met.
We're comfortable releasing those conditions from the site plan approval process and having them part of the engineering review of the construction documents.
Among other things, The Planning Commission wanted the plans for Project T to account for easements, paving materials used on streets, and fencing. Project T is a $33 million development planned by Harbor Habitat and Detroit-based Renovair. It's expected to include more than 70 units, some of which will be apartments in a 4-story building, and others will be houses. Ground could be broken in 2024. And a new fundraising effort has been launched by United Through Motherhood, the group that donates diapers to organizations in need throughout the Southwest Michigan. President Ruth Kramer tells us they have secured a challenge grant from the Frederick S. Upton Foundation.
I now know that it takes about $30,000 a year to keep my community partners supplied. And so I asked for a $30,000 grant, and they said, we'll give you 10, and if you raise 10, we'll give you another 10. I said, done. This is what I'm trying to do now.
United Through Motherhood gives diapers by the thousands to 10 community service groups throughout Berrien and Van Buren counties. One of them is Neighbor by Neighbor in Union Pier. Director Carrie Haskins tells us they've had plenty of families in need.
We had some parents that were kind of just going without or doing their best to stretch diapers. And we know that really is not good for the babies, in terms of diaper rash and other things that could develop. So now they have a free resource to be able to get these.
As part of the new $10,000 fundraiser, United Through Motherhood has announced cats and dogs for diapers. You can enter your pet into the contest, and then friends and families can make donations on the pet's behalf. Doing so also enters the pet to win gift cards from local businesses. We have a link to enter at our website. In the WSJM Newsroom, I'm Dave Wolf.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. Reports say the MSU Board of Trustees is expected to approve the appointment of University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz at a special meeting Friday morning. Guskowitz has been a chancellor on the Chapel Hill campus for 4 years. The Michigan Supreme Court will hear arguments today in a case that could have a major impact on workers across the state. The state legislature approved a wage increase for workers, then cut them back in 2018. Tipped workers now earn $3.84 an hour, but it could go up to $12 an hour. Some tipped workers want the lower wage, so they'll still get tips. A Kent County Sheriff's deputy was hit by a vehicle as they were responding to a call last night. The sheriff's office says the deputy was helping the Wyoming Department of Public Safety with an arrest when the deputy was hit. They say the deputy was taken to the hospital and was expected to be released. I'm Beth Fisher for the Michigan News Network.
There's a good chance you need a new tractor, something durable and reliable. But in today's world, it has to be affordable. A tractor that'll help you get the job done quickly, efficiently, and with no hassle ownership. The new name in compact tractors is TYM. So here's what you do. Go to TYMoffers.com, check out the full model lineup, and get the best deals of the year. TYMoffers.com. Go there now, TYMoffers.com, and you can thank me later.
All contractors working with Michigan businesses can win more projects by including energy-efficient rebates in your proposals. These rebates are provided by Michigan utility companies for contractors and customers completing construction projects using energy-efficient equipment. DNV, our local sponsor, can help you start your rebate journey. Visit dnvtradeally.com to learn how energy-efficient rebates can help you win more bids. That's DNV Trade.
All right, everybody. Hoping you're having a great start to the day. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet for the WSJM Holiday Breakfast Blend event that is 1 week from today, you need to get on it and do that. You can do it at WSJM.com. It's right there. And I think there's also an Eventbrite link. All of that can be found at WSJM.com. We covered quite a lot of things in the news so far this morning. Just see Taylor Swift is the Time Magazine Person of the Year. Really no surprise because she'd been in the news and sports pretty much all year round with her Eras Tour, her Eras Tour movie that she put out, and how that's just making tons and tons of money. She became a billionaire this year. She became Travis Kelce's girlfriend, and she put Travis Kelce on the map and changed the NFL too. I think really what they should do is they should just have her, especially if the Chiefs make it to, if it's a Chiefs Eagles rematch, I think they need to change who the halftime show is. Because I know Usher's going to be the halftime show, and yeah, that's going to be great. But if Taylor Swift's favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and her boyfriend's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, end up having a rematch in the Super Bowl, you'd break the internet, you'd break the television if you had Taylor Swift, even if she just made an appearance for, a song. It would just be monumental. So, not sure if they'll do that, but hey, there's always a possibility. Some things to talk about this morning. I noticed that there's a Kilwins in Little Rock, Arkansas, that has created a 23-pound chocolate Santa for the holidays. Now it's on display at the Kilwins in Little Rock, Arkansas. 23 pounds. I don't if it's solid, 23 pounds, probably not that big. It's probably, this big. But if it's hollow, well, then we're talking much bigger. I don't know the exact dimensions of this thing, but the chocolate Santa is going to be donated to the Arkansas Children's Hospital. Pretty cool idea. One thing, though, is I wish that this was something that was at the Kilwins here in St. Joe, because that would be awesome. If the Kilwins in St. Joe wants to also make that, I'm okay with it. Let's see, 23-pound Santa. How big is this thing? Oh yeah, it's good size. I'd say it's like looking at this picture, I'd say 4 feet tall. And it's on display in Little Rock, Arkansas. Come on, give me a picture. Trying to get a picture and put it up on here. It's it looks like it's on display. So I'd say 3 or 4 feet tall, maybe, but 23 pounds. Hopefully they don't have that close to the window, because I don't want that thing to melt. That would not be good. Don't want to melt the chocolate. All right. I mean, has anybody ever had a 23-pound chocolate Santa before? I don't think I have. I've had the big Easter bunnies that are like, 6 inches to a foot. Not anywhere close to 23 pounds, though. Other story real quick. Massachusetts woman recently won $25 million lottery jackpot after winning a $1 million prize back in 2006. So this person, very, very lucky. They purchased their winning ticket from the Baker Street Market in West Roxbury. Now, she bought 2 more tickets from the same store a week later and won an additional $500. So she's won $1 million, she's won $25 million, and then she just wins the $500. She does plan to use some of her winnings to go on another vacation to Aruba. Another vacation, because, well, she's just that lucky. Has anyone ever won a large lottery jackpot, or know anybody that's won a large lottery jackpot? I know we've talked about this every time the Mega Millions and Powerball come around, but even just like $1 million, I've not known many people that have had a big lottery jackpot. Yeah, a few, people that have gotten like $1,000 or things like that, but nowhere near the millions. All righty. Oh, and this is a fun would you rather. Speaking of winning money, A new poll asked people this question: would you rather receive $1 million today or earn 3 cents for every step you take? About 56% of people said that they'd prefer the 3 cents per step. Because if you think about it, you factor all that in, $1 million steps you take, and, a lot of people that try to get the 10,000 steps or more a day, you can rack up some money pretty quick. I mean, 10,000 steps, 30,000 pennies. That's pretty good in a day. I'd sign myself up for that. Except for the past week, I've not been getting that many steps in because I've been really in the house for most of the week. But other days, I get a good amount. I get about 7,000 steps a day, according to my watch, which I don't really think is that accurate. But hey, I get a lot of steps in. All right, let's get back to the show. Got some things to talk about.
Evil protagonist kind of spearheading this next game is somewhat big.
Lyle says that's part of the reason why GTA 6 is poised to be a big deal when it launches in 2025, both for its publisher Rockstar and for the broader gaming world.
It's always like, what is Rockstar going to do that sets a new standard, a new bar for what open world and open world sandbox games should be?
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WSJM Weather You Can Depend On is sponsored by Boss Services, raising the standard for heating, cooling, and electrical in Southwest Michigan. Boss Services.
We start out with a few clouds this morning, then become mostly sunny today. And afternoon temperatures getting up around 50 degrees. With the wind out of the southwest, we will see some big waves along the lake shore. Tonight, partly cloudy, we drop down to 40. And then for tomorrow, a little bit warmer, a mix of the sun and clouds, high temperatures at 55. Rain showers return for Saturday. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
It's the morning show on 94.9 WSJM.
Would love to have you join us a week from today for the WSJM Holiday Breakfast Blend event, where we are mashing up or teaming up, I think as they say in the superhero movies. We're doing a team up. Myself, Ken, and Michigan's Big Show with Michael Patrick Shields doing a team up. And we'd love for you to be there. Join us for breakfast, a live broadcast, and some fun holiday party games for a chance to win fun and fabulous prizes. Just $9.49 gets your ticket to the show and a great breakfast as well. It's happening Thursday, December 14th. Show goes on from 6 to 9, so feel free to drop in at any time. You don't have to get there early at 6 o'clock and hang out with us the whole time unless you want to. But if you only have a few minutes before work or maybe want to spend an hour with us, that's totally cool as well. $9.49 covers your breakfast and your chance to be on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait to see you. Shadowland on Silver Beach. Get all the details and most importantly, get your tickets at WSJM.com. and the WSJM app. Speaking of paying for stuff, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and her commission to address Michigan's sluggish population growth is considering a proposal to pay people to move to the state. The Growing Michigan Together Council offered some ideas recently to try and boost the population. Michigan is still the 10th most populous state in the nation, but has ranked 49th in growth since 1990, ahead of only West Virginia. Come on, we can do better than West Virginia. This is prompting job shortages statewide and other looming financial and quality of life challenges. Now, Whitmer launched the commission a while back to make recommendations about how the state could retain and attract more residents. Back in Maine, we know there's some people locally, some great people that are part of that. I know John Pro's on one of these committees. Now, a 40-page draft report was released November 30th by the Growing Michigan Together Council and included a lot of proposals to retain and attract new residents, ranging from overhauling the state's education system to heavy infrastructure improvements. And one of those things buried on page 26 of that report is expected to be in the last draft before final recommendations are released December 15th, was a suggestion that Michigan, quote unquote, implement novel programs and incentives that would expand the talent pipeline for critical knowledge-based jobs. Competing with other states for talent requires a combination of targeted marketing, novel incentives, and robust policies to reverse current population trends. More and more regions across the country, from Northwest Arkansas to Topeka, Kansas, to Rochester, New York, are offering relocation incentives, tax credits, and down payment assistance and other incentives to attract talent to fill in-demand, high-wage jobs. Now, Brittany Hill, she's the spokesperson for the 28-member bipartisan council that will make recommendations to Whitmer, declined to comment on the pay-to-move proposal, but did say that the proposal in the draft document remains subject to change. The council, they say, is considering potential strategies to support education, economic, and infrastructure outcomes in Michigan. The proposed recommendations are not final until the council votes. Now, of course, trying to find talent, trying to come up with different ideas, a lot of that has been happening across the United States, and especially here in Michigan. Now, there was a remote worker incentive program in West Michigan, right here, actually in Berrien County, but that ended in 2022. The Move to Michigan plan that Cornerstone Alliance was spearheading. But I don't know exactly how well that went. I know quite a few people that were a part of it, but don't know the solid numbers. But it was launched back in 2020, and we know that the program offered remote workers who lived outside of Michigan $10,000 to move to Berrien County, and another $5,000 if they had children who enrolled in local schools. They allocated about $250,000 from a property sale for the program, with the goal of getting about 25 families to move to the county. And after 2 years and more than 4,000 applications, only 7 families moved here. Biggest reason, though, and we've heard this in the news even this morning, is that the lack of available housing is a major issue. So I'm sure there's going to be a ton of other things that are going to be thrown in there and suggestions that go into this whole thing. But I mean, all in all, the biggest thing that comes out of it is the possibility of giving incentives to move people to Michigan. I mean, it's a good idea we got to grow the population some way. If we can throw a little bit of money at them, a little bit of a break for them to move. But if we can't solve the housing issue, well, then we can't really move them. They don't have a place to move to. They don't have a house to go to. That's going to be the problem. So more on that soon. But December 15th looks like when they'll get their sort of final draft to the governor with all those suggestions. We got a lot to talk about here in just a little bit. We'll talk about some housing things that are going on, some projects that are going on in your Moody on the Market update. That's on the way next. It's the morning show on 94.9 WSJM.
There is a place in Southwest Michigan where a fresh and innovative daily brunch and dinner menu will delight you, where craft cocktails and extensive wine and beer options will excite you, and where the ambiance feels like being on vacation right in your own backyard. That place is Planks. Planks Tavern on the Water. Resort quality dining without the resort attitude or the resort bill. Inside the Inn at Harbor Shores on the River Channel in St. Joe. Take a break from your busy workday at Planks Happy Hour, featuring special tavern bites and refreshing cocktails. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. And the best place to enjoy authentic, fresh sushi is Planks Tavern on the Water. Every Wednesday night, made to order and incredibly delectable. See the full menu plus creative drink options and more at plankstavern.com or book your reservation anytime on the Open Table app. Planks Tavern on the Water inside the Inn at Harbor Shores. An experience away from it all without going far.
Do you love Christmas music? There's a radio station that right now is playing nothing but holiday music. That station is Sunny 101.5 FM.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
All Christmas music, all the time.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Michiana's home for the holidays is Sunny 101.5 FM, the Christmas music station.
The Morning Show with Jonny and Ken on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
When you want to know Southwest Michigan's business, you can find it at moodyonthemarket.com and the Moody on the Market app. Our team of contributors always on it, telling you about business updates as well as important people you should know and Southwest Michigan and why we love it here. All of that part of the buckets that we fill to bring that information to you on moodyonthemarket.com. Another great thing that you'll find is the Moody on the Move series, where Pat Moody's talking with the folks from the Center for Growth and Independence. Also, our rewards program, where you'll find 40 under 40, best places to work, and bold women of business. All right there at moodyonthemarket.com and the app. Your update brought to you by our friends at Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners agency, with locations in St. Joseph and in Niles. The Benton Harbor Planning Commission has granted its approval for Project T, a commercial and residential development plan for the site of the former Mercy Hospital. This is exciting stuff. At a meeting last month, planners gave conditional approval to the site plans, and at a meeting this week, they heard from a consultant to the conditions that they've been met. They say we're comfortable releasing those conditions from the site plan approval process and having them part of the engineering review of the construction documents. Now, among other things, the Planning Commission wanted the site plans for Project T to account for easements, pavement materials used on the streets, and fencing as well. Now, Project T is a pretty substantial project, $33 million, this development that's planned by Harbor Habitat as well as Detroit-based Renovair. Now, it's expected to include more than 70 units, some of which will be apartments in a 4-story building and others to be houses as well. Groundbreaking could happen as soon as 2024. So be on the lookout for more progress with that, but it's moving one step forward, and you'll probably soon see a lot of construction starting to happen very soon. So exciting stuff happening at Benton Harbor. If you want to check out that full story, check out moodyonthemarket.com and the Moody on the Market app, as well as all over the place. There's so many great stories to check out. So spend a lot of time there. Your Moody on the Market update brought to you by our friends at Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owners agency with locations in St. Joseph and in Niles. We'll catch you up with news, sports, and a whole lot more next. It's the morning show on 94.9 WSJM. Here's Rich Brandt and Tara Halsey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owners agency in St. Joseph and Niles.
In a world where everything is chaotic and changing, we are at least.
All right. Yes, Teresa, thank you. Yeah, I'm starting to feel better. Ken, I think, is starting to feel better as well. Yeah, COVID does suck. My first time having it, surprisingly. I thought I was not going to get it after so many people that I knew had it. I dodged it all the way until now. So I think that was a pretty good run before getting it. I know a lot of people that I've talked to this week as I've been giving them my symptoms and things like that and just telling them all about it is they said, oh yeah, I've had it a couple times. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure. All right. You have a great rest of your day. Still got a lot of show left to do, a whole other hour. So if you want to check that out, WSJM.com, the WSJM app, and of course on your radio, 94.9 WSJM. Don't forget to get your tickets for the Holiday Breakfast Blend event. It's happening 1 week from today. Love to see you. So go get your tickets, WSJM.com. All right. Have a great day. Bye now.